Welcome back. You're watching News Tech's Deep Dive. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. Today, we are taking a look at the intersection of faith, constitutional rights, and social change. A story that sparked mass protests and political battles is today at the center of one of the most significant legal debates in modern India. What exactly has the Apex Court said in the case so far? Well, let's break it down. Let's first look at what forms the crux of this landmark case. At the center of the case is the centuries-old practice banning the entry of women between the age of 10 and 50 to Sabarimala temple in Pathanamthitta, Kerala. The argument from the temple authorities is rooted in religion, that Lord Ayyappan, to whom the temple is dedicated, is a Nashtika Brahmachari, or a perpetual celibate. Due to this, temple authorities have traditionally not allowed women of menstruating age to worship there. In a 2018 judgment, the Supreme Court held that any exception placed on women because of biological differences violates the Constitution. Specifically, the court held that the ban violated the right to equality under Article 14 and the right of freedom of religion under Article 25. The court also introduced an idea saying constitutional morality must prevail over social or religious practices. Then Chief Justice Deepak Mishra has said exclusion based on biological factors is not justified. The 2018 verdict led to protests by thousands of Ayyappan devotees who opposed the verdict. A month later, about 10 female activists attempted to enter the temple despite threats of physical assault, but they were unsuccessful. When two women successfully entered the temple through a rear gate on 2nd January 2019, priests closed the shrine temporarily for purification results. Now, the Sabarimala reference hearing is ongoing in the Supreme Court since April 2026. The direct precursor to the current hearing came in 2019 when the Supreme Court heard review petitions against its own verdict. Instead of directly overturning or upholding the 2018 judgment, the court kept the issue alive. By a 3-2 majority, the court decided to refer larger questions to a bigger bench. These questions went beyond Sabarimala to include what is an essential religious practice. The court effectively expanded the scope of the case. The idea was clear. This is no longer just about one temple. It was about defining the relationship between fundamental rights and religious freedom in India. The 9-judge bench of Chief Justice of India, Suryakant, along with Justice Nagaratna, Justice Sundaresh, Justice Amanullah, Justice Kumar, Justice George Masi, Justice Varale, Justice Mahadevan, and Justice Joy Malia Bakshi, thus began with examining the scope of religious freedom with reference to the case. The court has also held that while deciding the issue on the right to enter temples, it has to examine whether a devotee or a non-devotee is claiming that right. Justice Nagaratna in particular observed that true women devotees of Lord Ayyappan would not go to the Sabarimala temple until they attain the age of 50. She also observed that Article 25(2)(b), which empowers the state to make law for social reform, is not a right in itself and is only an enabling power, saying in the name of reform, don't hollow out the religion. Let us not open rituals and ceremonies which are there for centuries. Finally, Justice Bakshi inquired whether the court has authority to step in for filling the gaps for non-Hindu institutions or leave it for the legislature. Justice Nagaratna added that reform will come when Parliament finds it can be done. While Justice Bakshi asked whether courts can still bring incremental equality through Articles 32 and 226, where the state has not acted. The court will now continue to hear the matter on the 5th of May. Rajalakshmi Joshi, political analyst, is with us live. Rajalakshmi Joshi, what do you make of the court's observations so far in the Sabarimala matter?
Hello there, and I think that the court is very maturely and with a very open mind listening to all the arguments. And even their observations, I think, are very well placed, considering the fact that they are actually, if you look at the judges, they are across all religions. And so I don't think that that also should be an issue. So I think that they are listening to all aspects of the matter, and also I would also like to say, I would like to add a few things that one has to understand that if one person is a devotee, then they should actually be able to respect the norms and the customs of that particular temple, because the basic fact is that a temple, a Hindu temple, is much different from what you would find in a mosque or a church, not just in terms of architecture on the way it is built, but in the very principle itself, in the fact that when you have the Pran Pratishtha, without which there will not be a temple, the temple essentially has the deity. So unless you have the Pran Pratishtha, that it is only a statue. So when you have the Pran Pratishtha, it is considered that the living deity, that is the life of the deity, has entered into the statue, and that is how it becomes the deity. So it is not a statue there; it's a deity. So it's considered a living god. So that is how we look at it, and that is why one of the arguments made earlier was that this living deity is a brahmachari, and that is why they do not prefer women of a certain age to go there, because brahmacharis, they have this custom or they have a ritual where they obviously they observe celibacy, so they would not prefer to mingle with women of a particular age. So I think that if a person genuinely is a believer or a follower of that particular faith or of that particular deity, then they should obviously have to respect and understand, and they should be able to follow those customs and rituals. Otherwise, they cannot claim that they are a follower, or that they are so immersed in the devotion that they want to not miss going to the temple at the risk of going against the very customs that have been prohibited in that particular temple. So it is almost as if saying that I love you so much that I want to hurt you, and it's okay if you don't agree with whatever I am doing. It's like I'm not respecting your wishes. Whatever that is, that I think it's a very toxic way of a relationship. So you have to understand that this is the basic fact. So this is how one should have to look at it, that you are going against the very essential religious practice by demanding that you want to go there against the customs. And I think that even people across all religions in the panel, there is this nine judge bench. So you can imagine that
Absolutely.
obviously they come
And
with
what is going to be the ramification? Whatever the order is, what is going to be the ramifications of that final judgment when it does come in, Rajalakshmi?
Uday, I'm sure that there will definitely be some kind of restrictions, because see, even in our constitution, whatever you talk about freedom of speech, or you talk about freedom of expression, or whatever it may be, once freedom ends where it hurts another person's rights. So that is how it should be. So the court has rightly said that one person's fundamental rights to observe a particular religion does not mean that they should be able to hurt another group, or a group of people who believe something else. So it's like millions of followers, they believe a certain custom, and this has been going on for thousands of years. And one person claims that they have a fundamental right, and that too, let me tell you the background of the person, that they are a political activist. Miss Bindu is a political activist. So, Miss Justice Nagratna has rightly asked, are you a devotee or are you an activist? Because it looks as if the very intention behind going to this temple, behind seeking this kind of a reform, seems to be a matter of trying to hurt the faith, because she is a Dalit activist, and she says that I am being restricted from going here because I am a Dalit woman, because I am an SC woman. The Supreme Court rightly observed that you are not being stopped because you are an SC woman, but because you are a woman, and it is not about the caste or about the gender, but it is about the age, and it is about a custom. So there is no discrimination here at all today. And I think that this is
Right.
just a way of poking,
Okay.
if I would call it in colloquial
Okay.
terms.
Appreciate you joining us, Rajalakshmi Joshi, with your perspective on this segment.